What's up, you guys? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Fit Women's Weekly podcast. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. My name's Kendall. I have been a certified personal trainer for over 16 years now, and it is during that period that I've trained strictly with women. Women's fitness is my passion, and in this podcast, I aim to share that passion with you guys for fitness, health, and overall lifestyle. I share not only things as a personal trainer and my expertise, but I also share the journey of my own life and my own experiences. And today's episode is kind of fun because I really get to tie those things together because we are going to be discussing healthy knees. I'm going to share how simply walking my dog about a decade ago really royally messed me up and the things that I've had to do recently to help recover, so that if you are somebody that suffers with knee pain, hopefully by the end of this episode, you'll find something that is useful to you so that you don't have to deal with that pain anymore. I know it's no fun, and we're gonna get to the meat of it. But first, before we do, I have to give a shout out and say, y'all, there is 20 days left. The countdown is on until my 8-week summer shred officially kicks off. This is my 8-week training program for women looking to challenge themselves, perhaps take their fitness to the next level. Maybe you have a big event, whether that's a vacation or wedding, you're doing something really cool, you wanna feel your best, and that's at the end of the summer. So now is the best time to work yourself through a program to see some amazing results. And my 8-week summer shred is my most favorite event that I have put on every single year. It started when I ran just a brick and mortar studio, and then I've been able to bring it online to Fit Women's Weekly Live as well. With the 8 weeks, you are gonna get full unlimited access to Fit Women's Weekly Live, where I host daily live streaming workouts right here in my studio. You can do them live, or you can hit play later on when they fit your schedule. You get access to a training plan so that you know not only what workouts that you need to be doing each day, but what things outside of the gym you should be doing to see the results that you want to get. What little things can you add to add more movement to your day? What nutritional changes can you make that are small and easy to do, but can do have a really big impact when it comes to the results and how you feel. It really is about just the way that our body feels and the way that we fuel our body and move our body. Those things have play a huge impact in how we handle things. Y'all, I cannot talk today. If y'all like, what is wrong with you? That is a really good question. My words are getting so jumbled. I think part of it is just, I'm excited to chit chat with you guys. Another thing is the countdown to the summer shred is on, and I'm so excited that I wanted to just spill the beans on everything. And when you're overly excited, sometimes your words come out before your brain can think. And I think that's actually what is going on. But yeah, so you're gonna get the training plans. You're gonna get unlimited access to Fit Women's Weekly Live. You get unlimited access to me. You can talk to me. You can share training videos with me so that I can help you with your form. You're gonna have accountability partners in myself and the other ladies that participate. We're gonna have weekly coaching talks to talk about nutrition. What are the things that I recommend, and why is it that I recommend those things, and how can you achieve those goals easily? So for example, if you're supposed to be eating 130 grams of protein a day and you're only getting 90 grams a day, what are some easy ways to help boost it and make that easy? If you're only drinking 50 ounces of water a day, but you're supposed to drink 100, how can you do that, right? I wanna break it down and make these changes simple for you, and it's all part of the Fit Women's Weekly Live Summer Shred Challenge. And if you go ahead and sign up, you will have free access to Fit Women's Weekly Live from your sign up date all the way until July 10th when the actual challenge begins. So you have absolutely zero to lose. If you sign up and then during that trial period you say, this isn't for me, no big deal. I will refund you your money for the summer shred and you can peace on out, not a big deal. But definitely join me. This is a limited membership option, and I'm gonna be there with you every step of the way, sharing all the tools that I have. I'm gonna give you even free macros. You don't have to pay extra to get your personalized macros, and I give you a tracking sheet to make staying accountable with your macros even easier. So this is fitness, this is nutrition, this is mindset. Freaking everything, you guys. It's a no-brainer. So go sign up. Spots are limited, and share it. Get your friends to join in with you, and they can be your certified accountability partner. But more on that once you actually join the challenge. If you're like, what, an actual accountability partner? Yes, besides just the group, you do get your personalized accountability buddy, AKA your workout wifey. All right, you guys, so let's do this. Let's jump into this week's episode. The first thing, part one, I want to start bringing back my workouts. And I know that I say that every episode, not every episode, but every couple of episodes, but then I forget about it. But I have so many past clients that are like, I used to love it when you would share a workout on the actual podcast. And I do that when I think about it, and then I forget, and a couple weeks goes by. So I've decided, instead of ending our podcast with a workout like I used to do, I'm gonna start creating the habit of sharing the workout by doing it first thing. So today's workout is brought to you by Interval Monday at Fit Women's Weekly Live. On Mondays, we do intervals. And yesterday was different in the fact that it was an actual traditional interval. Normally I do things like 3-minute intervals, 2-minute intervals. I do my own thing. I don't like 60 seconds on, 60 seconds off, or 30-30. It's just too generic. But every once in a while, that kind of stuff is fun too, and it goes by pretty fast. So yesterday's workout was Tabata based, which, if you don't know what Tabata is 8 rounds of 20 seconds of exercise followed by 10 seconds of rest. It did go by really fast, but I always like to say, when you are doing a Tabata where it is such a short term when it comes to the exercise window, you have to push hard. In order to get the most out of it, you got to give it everything you have for that 20 seconds. Where that 20 seconds, you should be going, oh my God, when is this 20 seconds up? Because you're pushing so hard. Not like, oh, I only got 3 reps in, right? That's what you're going to get the most bang from your buck. So part one of yesterday's workout, as I do a 60-minute workout and a 30-minute workout. So part one of the 60-minute workouts was Tabata, and we did one exercise for all 8 rounds. The first exercise was plank walking push-ups, where you get in a plank position, you walk down the yoga mat in a lateral position, so you're gonna go sideways, and every time you open, you do a push-up. Then you walk together, you open, you do a push-up, but you're moving as fast as you can. My arms were pumped by the very end of it. So that is exercise number 1. Exercise number 2 was kettlebell swings for all 20 seconds. Exercise number 3 was a decline mountain climber push-up. So your feet are gonna be up on a box. You're gonna do a mountain climber per leg and then a push-up. Mountain climb, push-up. Mountain climb, push-up. Again, really intense on the arms, really intense on the shoulders, especially being in that decline position. You're gonna get your anterior delts a little bit more. It burnt real good. And then exercise number 4 was what was exercise number 4? It was a gorilla crawl. So you're gonna start laterally at the bottom of a squat, stay low on a squat, go sideways down your mat and sideways back. So you're kind of running in a squat position in a lateral, but laterally, running sideways. So that was it, and it was hard. We rested about 90 seconds in between each exercise. So you did 1 for 8 rounds, rest 90 seconds. Exercise number 2, which was the kettlebell swings, 8 rounds, rest 90 seconds. Exercise number 3, those decline push-ups with the mountain climbers, rest, and then finish it off with lateral gorilla shuffles. If you have any questions, if you're actually like, wow, I really want to do that, but I don't know what a gorilla shuffle is or whatever, let me know, and I will be happy to do a quick little video, and I'll just post it on my Instagram as a reel, or I'll put it here as a short if you're watching this on YouTube. But make sure to follow me over on Instagram, you guys, Kendall Boyle Fitness. All right, so that's the workout. Now, let's talk about freaking knees. A couple of fun facts about knees, y'all. They're one of the most stressed joints in the body. For every pound that you weigh, your knees receive 4 times the amount of stress. So if you weigh 100 pounds, you're putting 400 pounds of stress on those knee joints. And so that's why if you are overweight or obese, when you lose weight, that's like the first place that you can feel it. You'll go, oh my God, my knees are feeling so much better, because you're taking a lot of that pressure off of them. Fun tip number 2, kneecaps are unique per individual. It's kind of like a thumbprint or a toe print. Everybody has their unique kneecaps, and they can actually even be used in forensic science, but you do have to have an MRI in order to be able to match kneecaps. And let's face it, like if you don't already have your kneecaps MRI'd before something bad happens, it's not gonna be all that useful per se. But I just find that very interesting that we all have our own kneecaps. So we all have our own dental molds, we all have our own thumbprints, and we all have our own kneecaps. My kneecaps are very, very wiggly. My husband's not so much. Number 3, they are the most complicated joint in the body, which of course, like when you're just thinking about it, you just think of it, it's like bone, it's a patella, your kneecap, it goes back and forth. What's so hard about that? But it is composed of the femur, which is your thigh bone, your patella, and then the top of your tibia, which is your shin bone, and then it's held in place by a ton of tendons and ligaments. And then of course there's a lot of cartilage like your meniscus, but we always think about the ACL and the MCL. Sorry y'all, I was sitting up on my knees, but that hurts after a while, especially these poor knees, which we're about to talk about. And then the knees rely on 10 different muscles to actually work properly. We're talking about the quads, which contain 4 muscles, the rectus femoris, the vastus lateralis, vastus intermedius, the vastus medialis, and the hamstrings, of course, are another group of muscles, which is the semitendinosus, semimembranosus, and the bicep femoris. And those are the ways that I've always said them, but if you are Latin or in the medical field, maybe you say them a little bit differently. And then you also have your hip abductors, your glutes, and your calf muscles, which all work to stabilize the knees. There's a lot going on with that one joint, right? So that brings us to the topic of today, because we're going to be talking about all of that when it comes to having really healthy knees. So a lot of my clients have had bad knees. I have clients that have had knee replacements, and then myself have also had some knee issues going on in the past and currently in the present. And I'm going to turn this camera down a little bit just so I can sit down lower. There we go. Oh, that's kind of fun. It needs to be up a little bit more. So here's my story about my knees. About probably over 10 years ago now, I was walking my dog Zoe, who unfortunately is no longer with us, but she was just the best. She was a little silky terrier. And I was walking her in our grass wearing wedges, like cute little wooden wedge platforms. They're adorable, but we had to go somewhere. So I was like, before we drive away, instead of putting tennis shoes on or anything, I'm just gonna walk the dog. Stupid idea, right? Because I'm walking out in our backyard, my foot rolled in a hole and my knee was pretty much done. So it didn't bother me too much at the time. I wasn't able to run for a little bit, but I was like 25 at the time, and it was just kind of one of those things of my life is too short to stop for this, and I've got too much stuff going on, so I kind of just ignored it. But I do know that I caused some damage, and I did have to wear a knee brace for a couple of weeks, and then my knee would get stuck and locked into place where I'd have to just kind of kick it to make it unlock, which is the sign of a meniscus tear. So back then I knew that I'd done some stuff to it, and it has pretty much bothered me off and on since then. And then back up to about a month ago, I was doing some fun stuff, AKA some stupid stuff on a bar. I hit my leg just right. At the time, my knee itself didn't bother me too much. It was actually my shin or my calf that as soon as I got off the bar, I was like, ow, that really hurt. Had a big old bruise on my leg. My calf muscle like seized up super tight. And then it was 2 days later that my knee, I was even stretching, and I have it on Fit Women's Weekly Live because it was during the workout that I went, ooh, my knee's just not really happy with me. I wonder if I did something when I hit it on the bar. And then as the day went on, it just got worse and worse. And the next day, like I could not do anything. It was sore to the touch. It was sore to tighten my knee. It was sore to walk. I mean, it was bad. I knew I had really messed something up, and I went back and looked at the video, and I shared it with a couple of people and experts, and I've talked to some people, and it was confirmed as a meniscus tear. And so that's kind of where I'm at the past couple of weeks. However, instead of looking at it like I did back in my 20s, where it was like, I've got too much going on right now, I'm just gonna ignore it and fight through, I was like, okay, I'm almost 40. I've already been dealing with knee pain for 15 years. I don't want to have to deal with this for the rest of my life. I love the lifestyle that I lead. I want to be able to run again. I want to be able to do lunges and squats and perform for Fit Women's Weekly Live, because even though I'm doing the workouts, it's still a performance. I want to be able to share my excitement and not be wincing in pain when I'm trying to do my workouts for you guys and when I'm doing them for the live channel. So instead of just pushing through, I said, okay, now's the time for me to really break down what is going on and helping myself to heal in a smart way so that I can move past this and hopefully, knock on wood, not have to deal with it as I go further into the future. So that's what I've done. I've really taken my time. I took a full week off from the studio to help my muscles relax, to help get rid of the inflammation. And then I've been studying a lot of exercises and how to roll and stretch to help my knee get better. And it has been about 4 weeks, and I ran yesterday for the very first time. So running did not feel completely normal, but I was able to have a normal gait. I did feel myself, and on a scale of 1 to 10 in terms of discomfort, it was probably like a 5 or a 6. And yeah, I'm really excited about that. So I wanted to share, what can you do to have a stronger knee joint and to help rehab yourself if you're somebody like me where you've been dealing with knee issues a lot in your past. Even if you're not going through anything currently now as far as an injury is concerned, but you have knee pain, this episode is going to help you with that. So what can you do to decrease knee pain and to increase knee recovery? Number 1 is foam rolling. So foam rolling, aka fascial release, you can do it with a roller, you can do it with a ball, whatever you have, but you want to make sure that you're rolling out the knots, because when you have trauma to the knee, it is not just a knee issue. It is going to interfere with all the muscles around the knee, because like we discussed, you have 10 muscles that help that knee move properly. So if your knee has something wrong with it, chances are those muscles are also going to be a little traumatized. So I find it really, really important to focus on foam rolling your calf. Especially my calf was so tight when I first started, but as soon as I finished rolling it for even just a 60-second roll, the knee pain would go away. Spot number 2, your quads, the front of your thighs. And if you are somebody like me that works out regularly, chances are your quads are very, very tight. And the first few times you go to roll, your hair is going to want to stand up on end, especially if you have knee issues. So roll it, take some deep breaths. While you're rolling it, focus on bending and extending that knee so that you're able to get into the quad a little bit more. Roll out your hamstring is the next place, and then your TFL, which is your tensor fascial latte, and that is at the top of your hip. And all those areas together, when you roll them out, can really make a big difference. And chances are, just rolling, after you're done, will go, oh my God, that feels so good. The problem is, if you don't do the other things that we're getting ready to talk about, rolling itself, it's a short-term fix. But if you just roll and then you move on with your day, those muscles are going to get tight right over again. So the other things that you need to focus on is mobility and stretch, taking your knee through a full range of motion as much as you are capable of doing, and then stretching out, specifically stretching out the quads, the hamstrings, the calves by holding stretch positions, and then going through mobility work of leg extensions, leg curls, hip rotations. Those sort of movements can make a big difference. And if you just go to Google and put in knee mobility drills, a lot of different things will come up. But I'm just putting this out there as like your feeler, because I know that this is a podcast. So like if you're obviously listening to this versus watching it, it's not, if I try to explain the exercises, but I'm hoping that this puts that knowledge out there that goes, oh, I've never thought about doing that, because I just always focus that it's knee pain. It must be something with arthritis or something with meniscus, and I can't make that better. So here's the secret. If you have meniscus issues, the meniscus itself doesn't have nerves. So a meniscus tear doesn't hurt. It's the inflammation that the tear originally causes that is the pain. So if you get control of the inflammation, and by doing these steps will help with that, your pain will go away. So you can live with a meniscus tear. You just got to get over the inflammation and get going back to life. And then the third thing that is super, super important is strength training. Training those 10 muscles that we were talking about, having strong quads, really making sure that you are balanced on both sides, so that if you are somebody like me who I am very quad dominant, when I do lifts like squats, obviously kettlebell swings as much as I do, or kettlebell movements and deadlifts, my quads are pretty much the strongest part of my lower body. I would dare say even stronger than my glutes, which is crazy because your glutes is the biggest muscle in your body, but that's where it is. So I do think that that led up to one of the reasons why it was easy for me to re-damage my knee and that meniscus, because I'm not balanced. So over this past 4 weeks, I've really been focusing on retraining my body so that I am able to fire off my quads a lot better. So quads being the front of your legs, hamstrings being the back of your legs. I was very hamstring dominant and quad weak. So how have I been doing that? Well, we're gonna talk about that in just a second, but just know you gotta train, you gotta strength train. When you have those strong muscles around that knee, you're putting yourself up to have a strong knee. It all works together, you guys. I can't say this enough, that our body is not made of individual components. We are one being, and when one thing is out of whack, something else is gonna be out of whack as well. So you really wanna make sure all the systems are working together to have the strongest body you can, and that means having the strongest knee. All right, so what are some of the knee exercises / strength training exercises that have helped me the most and that I have my clients do? First one, reverse step-ups. Or if you don't have a small box, I've been stacking up about 4 plates on top of each other. You can also do single leg quarter squats where you simply stand on one leg, sit down on a box, and then stand up off of that. But a reverse step-up is basically, instead of standing in front of a box and stepping up and stepping down, you start stepping on the box, and instead of stepping behind you, you're tapping your heel to the ground. And so that's why you don't want it to be very high. So you're gonna have one foot that stays on your box, the other foot slightly in front of you. You're going to slightly bend that knee so that the foot that is off the box taps the ground before you come back up to a standing position, AKA extension. And because you're not going very high, you can knock out a lot of reps pretty quick. You do want to go until you're feeling those quads burn. My training recently has been 140 per leg, and I can generally knock out about 50 or 60 before I stop. So reverse step-ups, number one, or if you don't have something that you can do reverse step-ups off of, single leg quarter squats, or maybe single leg 8th squats, right? If you don't feel comfortable going that far down. Exercise number 2 is sled push and pull. What you do forward, you should be able to do backwards. I'm actually going to talk more about this in just a second, but sled is so important and underrated because you're keeping your body in the contracted state versus in a strengthening and a contracted state versus a lengthening state when you're pushing the sled. And so you're not going to get as sore, but you are building a lot of strength nonetheless. And you are not putting a ton of pressure on the actual knee joint itself, but you're having a great way that you can strength train that knee without being like, ow, this hurts. And then going backwards puts a little bit more emphasis on the quads. So I've been doing that, alternating. So today is actually a sled day for me. I'm alternating between quarter squats and, well, the reverse step-ups and sled. So sled push is number 2. Number 3 is just walking. And I know that I've mentioned this before. I'm a huge fan of walking, not running when you have knee issues, but walking, because that is how you're getting the nutrients through the knee joint. The knee joint of itself is not a very vascular area of the body, meaning there's not a high blood supply. So we have something called synovial fluid, which brings nutrients into the knee to help it heal and recover and just move nice and smoothly. And when you walk, your calf pushes the synovial fluid up, and then your quads and your hamstrings push it back down in a nice little system. So walking is one of the best things that you can do in order for your knee health and recovery. So get out there, get walking. Just make sure that you have some good walking shoes. And then number 4 is reverse walking. I cannot talk about this more highly, you guys. I am a big fan when it comes to training that what we do forward, we should do backwards. What we do forward and backwards, we should also practice doing sideways laterally, right? That's how you create a good balanced training program. But I never really thought about it much with walking. However, that has probably been the number 1 best exercise that I can feel instant relief. So when you walk, you're not only working on the mobility of your knees, your hips, and your ankles, but it can also prevent pain and shock absorption in comparison to walking forward. So walking backwards improves your gait, which is really important, and I'm working on my posture right now for another podcast, and your balance for healthy adults that have knee problems. So when you walk backwards, you're actually taking shorter, more frequent steps. So that's going to help you with your muscular endurance, and it also helps increase the work that your quads are doing. And we are focusing on our quads when we are working on our knee strength. So walk backwards 5 to 10 minutes. Seriously, do your part of your workout warm up. If you are somebody who suffers from even the slightest bit of knee pain, just try walking backwards, whether that's on a treadmill, just make sure to go slow, or walking back and forth inside or outside. Give it a shot. I promise you, it's huge. And then of course, some isolated movements like leg extension and leg curls. Leg extensions being where you're holding your leg out. I've been doing them just body weight every single day with my knee propped up on a foam roller. So I'm not doing a whole ton of range of motion. It's not as if I'm on a seat doing leg extensions, because that, I mean, it did kind of hurt, but I wanted to practice just tightening up my quad before I relax it down. So leg curls, leg extensions, super important and super beneficial. And then what are some of the other tips and tricks that have helped me and that I've been researching and that I might recommend you do as well? Of course, talk to your doctor and your medical professional, but avoid sleeping on your side with bent legs. It felt the best for me. I would have a pillow between my knees, and I thought that I was doing myself a favor instead of sleeping on my stomach, which is what I normally would do before I hurt myself. But I would wake up and having my legs slightly bent like that would cause me to have about 3 to 5 minutes every morning of just pure pain while I tried to unstiffen my knee and get it moving again. So I don't like sleeping with a bent knee. Even if I'm on my back with bent knees, it didn't help. So what you could do is either sleep on your back with a pillow like underneath your calves to raise your feet up a little bit, or me personally, I still like to sleep on my stomach, but I extend my knee off of the side of my bed. And that is what I have learned to enjoy the best. And I do that because sleeping with my toes pointed leads to really tight calves, and that was leading to some issues off and on as well. So for me personally, I just sleep with that boo-boo leg off of the bed, but it is still straight. Number 2, hydrate. Drink that water. When you are hydrated, obviously you have probably more synovial fluid running through your body, right? So hydrate. It is going to help. It helps all things recover. It's going to help your muscles to relax and stretch out. It's going to help you be able to have the endurance to do these exercises. You guys, go back and listen to last week's episode. And then load up on protein and collagen. So protein and collagen, the building blocks of recovery, and when your body is injured, it needs to have everything that it can to repair itself. So when you're injured and you're not doing things that you normally do, right? You've had to cut your exercise down, maybe you're not running anymore and you are a runner, you're going to be like, oh, should I cut my calories because I'm not moving as much? No, because your body is still in a state of shock and it is working very hard to heal itself. So you want to make sure that you're giving yourself enough fuel and protein to help it recover as fast as possible. So actually don't cut back, don't go into a deficit, and increase your protein possibly up to 1.1, even 1.2 grams per pound that you weigh to help aid in recovery of even joint health. So there you go, you guys. It's been a long recovery, but I'm feeling so much better. These are the tools, these are the training tricks that I'm currently working with. This is not a short-term thing. This is stuff that I'm actually gonna be working with in weeks, if not months, to help get back to 100% and even hopefully further beyond. That's my goal. I've got a lot of big personal fitness goals for the summer, and these play into that. I wanna get strong legs. Not only strong legs, I wanna get strong looking legs. I gotta build those quads. And my knee is already feeling so much better. So hopefully these help you. If they do, let me know down below, but I do want to also make sure to preface this of make sure to talk to a doctor or physical therapist to make sure that you are on the right road to recovery. One last thing that I will say is that if you're like, well, Kendall, I've been following you in the past couple weeks, it doesn't look like you have a knee injury, you're not wearing a brace. There are a couple where I had a compression brace on, but I did that for a reason, because a lot of times when you're using one of those big fancy braces, your body learns to rely on that, and so then you actually create more imbalances and recovery can take a long time. So if you're able to, again, talk to your doctor that you don't really need the brace, don't start relying on it. And I know for most of us, that brace can just be more of like a peace of mind in our brain, but you also have to start building that confidence just in your body. So I did use the compression brace for a couple of times. But then once I realized, like, I really, at the end of it, as much as I would like to say that it made things easier, it really didn't give me much relief at all. And so I was like, you know what? I can do this. I want to make sure that I train my body in a balanced way, and then I'm actually focusing on making the muscles stronger, not weaker. So I've actually not been using a brace of any sort. So that is why, and it doesn't mean that things haven't bothered me. It just means that I've been trying to train smart. You guys, listening to the body. All right, that is this week's episode. If you found it helpful, let me know. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Leave comments down below if you're on YouTube, if you're listening to this on a podcast platform. Leave your review. And then, of course, you guys, I talked about the summer shred. I'm going to talk about the summer shred again in the next few episodes as we get closer and closer, but this is your 20-day countdown. So go sign up, get in for free for now, and join me on this 8-week journey of body transformation for the summertime. And I don't mean body transformation just has to be changing the way your body looks. I'm talking about the way that our body moves, what our body is capable of, and how we feel about ourselves. When you go through a hard program like the summer shred, and I don't mean hard as like, I just mean mentally hard, of, you're starting an 8-week program and you're gonna see yourself all the way through it. That's a transformation. That's a mental transformation, so that at the end you're like, oh my God, I am so proud of myself. I wanted to give up, but I didn't. I just want to preface that and say, it does not matter where you are in your fitness journey. I'm going to help you get through this. This is for beginners. It is for intermediates. And if you work out as much as I do, you're going to get a lot out of this as well. So don't hold yourself back thinking this is too hard. I simply mean it's too hard because most people don't start what they finish. And I want you to finish this. So join me, let's do it together. And if you have questions, let me know. All right, guys, thanks so much for hanging out with me. I will talk to you later. Bye.